So to get this sundress started, we're going to grab our category 3 yarn, make a slip knot, take our 4mm hook, and we're going to make a chain of 4. And once we have our chain, we're going to insert our hook into the first chain that we did with a slip stitch. And once we have this, we have a little circle. We're going to chain up 4. The first 3 count as a double crochet. And from here, we're going to prepare for a double crochet and double crochet once into that middle loop. And from here, we're going to chain 1, prepare for a double crochet, and double crochet again into that middle loop. So we're going to be doing 12 double crochet with a chain 1 in between, and then once we get to the end, we're going to count up 3 and slip stitch into that third loop. So now that I have my middle portion, I went ahead and cut and tied, and now we're going to introduce our color. So we're going to grab this color yarn. This is also a category 3 yarn. We're going to make a slip knot, insert our hook into any one of these gaps in between the double crochet, and then we're going to pull this through and chain up 3 to secure, and this also counts as a double crochet. And then now we're going to be doing modified puff stitches. So what that is yarn over. We're going to insert our hook like we're doing a double crochet. We're going to yarn over, pull through, and instead of yarning over and pulling through like we typically do with a double crochet, we're going to pull up until we can't pull up anymore, and then from here we're going to yarn over and pull through. And we're going to do this one more time, so we're going to have a total of 3 loops. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull through. We're going to pull upwards, yarn over, pull through. So we have a total of 3 loops. Like I said, go ahead and yarn over, pull through all 3, and this is our modified puff stitch. And once we have that, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do it all over again into the next loop. We're going to yarn over, insert our hook into the next loop, yarn over, pull through, and then from here we're going to pull this up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert our hook in through our loop, and yank upwards, yarn over, pull through 2, and then since we're doing it like this, we will have an extra loop on our hook because that's where the chain was. So we should have 3 right now, and we're about to do our third modified puff stitch. So go ahead and yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull through, and pull up. Yarn over, pull through. We should have 4 like I said. We're going to yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 2. And this is how we get it so that it comes to a point. And from here, chain 2, and we're going to do this one more time until we have a total of 3 modified puff stitches. Once we have 3 modified puff stitches, we're going to do a treble crochet to make the corner. So after our third modified puff stitch, we have a chain 2. So we're going to do a treble crochet. So we're going to yarn over twice, and we're going to insert our hook into the next loop, not the gap that we have in between the double crochets, but the loop that we have right on top of the next double crochet that we have. And we're going to do our treble crochet into there. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then pull through the last 2. And this makes one side of our corner. And we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to continue doing modified puff stitches into the next 3 loops, just like how we did here. And then we're going to do a treble crochet into the loop after, and we're going to keep doing that until we have 4 corners. And then once we're done with that, this is what we should have. I went ahead and connected with a slip stitch into the first chain 3 that we did into that third chain, and then I cut and tied, and this is our first granny square. And then once we were done, I went ahead and made 14 granny squares, and then this is how I'm going to be laying them out. But from here, we just need to connect each granny square to each other. So from here, we're just going to grab 2. I'm going to grab these 2 right here, and then taking these 2 granny squares, we're going to connect them with one side. So we're going to take the pretty sides and smush them together. We're going to take our yarn, make a slip knot, take our same hook, and then we're going to insert our hook right into where we did the treble crochets in through one granny square, and then in through the same loop into the second granny square. Then we're going to insert our yarn onto our hook, and then we're going to chain 1 to secure. And then from here, we're going to insert our hook, making sure that we go in through both granny squares, and then we're going to connect it with a single crochet. And then we're going to do that all the way down, just down one side. Once we get here, we're going to cut and tie, and we're going to do that for the entire layout. So once we've connected all the granny squares, now we're going to start to do a patch in the middle that's solid. And in order to do that, we're going to need to flip this upside down. And then from here, we're going to count along the sides of this side of the granny squares. We're going to count up 2 loops. So this is 1 loop, here's 2. We're going to insert our hook. And then we're going to grab the main color, make a slip knot, insert it onto our hook, pull this through, and then we're going to chain 1 to secure it. And from here, we're going to be doing rows of double crochet into this bottom border that we have. So we're going to prepare for a double crochet, and then we're going to go into these loops only. So we're going to insert our hook into the first loop, with a double crochet. And from here, we're going to prepare for a double crochet, and then we're going to be double crocheting once into every loop that we have, going all the way down. And then we're going to connect with a slip stitch on this side as well, but I'll show you how to do that once we get there. So once we've done our first row of double crochets, now we need to connect it with a slip stitch to the other side. And from here, we're going to do the same thing that we did when we first started this row. So we're going to count up 2 loops from this side, 1, 2, insert our hook into that loop with a slip stitch. And then how we're going to be working our way up to the next loop is that we're going to be slip stitching into the next 2 loops. So here's 1 slip stitch, and then here's 2 slip stitches. And from here, flip our work, double crochet once into every loop, going back down, connect with a slip stitch, do 2 slip stitches going up, and then we're going to keep doing that until we fill in this entire section. So once we're done filling in the middle part, the next part that we have to do is the side panels, and I already have one of mine done. So I'm just going to show you guys how to do that. We're going to go to the other side that has only the 2 granny squares, make a slip knot. We're going to insert our hook into the corner, and then we're going to chain 1 just to secure it. Then we're going to chain up another 2, so a total of 3. This counts as a double crochet, and then we're going to be double crocheting once into every loop that we have. And then once we get to the end, we're going to chain up 3, and then we're going to do another row of double crochets, and we're going to do that one more time, so a total of 3 rows of double crochet. Once we're done doing the side panel, now we're going to start doing a row of net so that we can weave in the back strap. So from here, we're going to chain up 5. The first 3 count as a double crochet, flip our work, prepare for a double crochet. We're going to count out 3 loops. 1, 2, 3, insert your hook into that 3rd loop with a double crochet. And we're going to do that again. We're going to chain 2, prepare for a double crochet, count out 3 loops, and double crochet into that 3rd loop. And we're going to do that all the way down this row. Once we've done our row of net, the last thing that we have to do is do a single crochet into every loop just to make this more sturdy. So we're going to chain up 1, flip our work, and then put 1 single crochet into every loop that we have. Once we get to the end, we're going to chain up 1 and cut, and then we're going to do this same back panel on the other side. Once we're done doing both side panels, the last thing that we have to do for this top portion is just do a single crochet border around this entire top part. So we're going to insert our hook in through this corner, make a slip knot, pull that through, and chain up 1 to secure. And then from here, we're going to be putting single crochets into every loop that we have. For the side panels, we're going to be working in these side double crochets, so we're going to be putting 2 single crochets into those. And then once we get into these regular loops, we're going to be putting 1 single crochet. And then once we get to the corners, we're going to be doing a decrease of 3, but I'll show you how to do that once we get there. So I finally made it to this corner, and now we're going to do a decrease of 3. So we have these 3 openings into the corners of each of these 3 granny squares that we have. So we're going to be doing a decrease into all of those corners. So we're going to insert our hook into this first one, yarn over, pull through. We're going to go into the middle granny square, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and then into the last granny square, yarn over, pull through, and then we're going to pull through 3, pull through 1, and that is how we're going to decrease for the corners. And from here, we're going to work our way along this end, putting 1 single crochet into every loop, and then we're going to do an increase of 3 into this corner, and I'll show you how to do that once we get there as well. So we've made it to this corner, and we're going to do an increase of 3 into that treble crochet corner that we have. So all we're going to do is put 3 single crochet into that 1 loop where the treble crochet was, and then from here put 1 single crochet into every loop that we have, going back down, increase into this corner, single crochet, decrease into this corner, and then cut and tie once you get to this end. So we're done doing our single crochet border around the entire thing, and now we're going to start working on the skirt portion. But from here, we're going to need to measure out what we already have. Mine is 20 inches. And then we're going to need to add a chain that can fit around your hips as well, because this is going to cinch in where your waist is, but you got to put it on. So I'm going to chain an extra 15 inches. So from here, we're going to insert our hook into this bottom corner, make a slip knot and pull that through, and I'm going to make a 15-inch chain. And then once I'm done, I'm going to connect it to this other side with a slip stitch. So once we've made our chain, we're just going to connect it to the other side. And from here, we're going to insert our hook into this corner and connect it with a slip stitch. And once we have that, we're going to chain up 3, flip our work, and then we're going to be putting 1 double crochet into every loop that we have, going all the way around, including these side double crochets. And once we get here, we're just going to be doing 2 double crochets into each of these side double crochets. And once we get all the way around, we're going to connect with a slip stitch. So we just made it all the way around with our double crochet, and we're going to be doing more rows of double crochet, but we're going to be increasing for the next few rows. And for this row, we're going to be increasing in every other loop. So from here, we're going to chain up 3. This counts as a double crochet. Prepare for a double crochet. Then we're going to double crochet once into the next loop. And then we're going to prepare for another double crochet and put 2 double crochet into the next loop. And then for the next one, just put 1 double crochet. And then we're going to keep doing this all the way around just for this one row. So we've made it all the way around with our second row of double crochet. In this one, we increase in every other loop. And in the third row, we're going to be increasing in every other third loop. So from here, we're going to chain up 3, prepare for a double crochet into the next 2 loops that we have. And then into the third loop, we're going to be putting 2 double crochet. And we're going to continue with this pattern all the way around. So once we're done with our third row and second row of increasing for double crochets, now we're just going to be working on the bulk of the skirt. So we're just going to be double crocheting once into every loop. Once we make our way around, connect with a slip stitch, and then keep doing double crochets until you get the size that you want, minus 2.5 inches, because we will be adding more granny squares at the bottom of the skirt. So I just got done doing the length of my skirt. From the first row of double crochet all the way down to the bottom, I have 11 inches, and we are going to do one more row of granny squares. So I have a couple here that's already made. We're going to connect it the same way that we did these. So just as a refresher, we're going to take 2 granny squares. We're going to put the pretty sides together and then single crochet along one side, and we're going to make one long band so that it can go along the bottom of the skirt. Once we have all of our granny squares connected, we're going to need to attach it to the bottom of the skirt. And from here, the only thing that we need to make sure is that all of the seams are facing the inside. So how we do that is that we're actually going to flip it upwards so that the seam is facing out. And then once when we're done, we're going to fold it over, and then you'll only see the pretty sides. So from here, we're going to align it somewhere in the back. It doesn't matter which hole, but we're going to insert our hook into one of these loops in the skirt, and then also into the corner of the granny square. And then we're going to attach this the same way that we've attached all the granny squares together, which is doing a single crochet, making sure that we're going through both loops on the granny square and the skirt. And we're going to do that all the way around. So once when we are done attaching all of our granny squares, this is what we should have. Just as a reference, I have 36 granny squares. And the last thing that we have to do for the skirt portion is do a row of single crochet along the bottom. So from here, we're going to insert our hook into any of these loops. It really doesn't matter which one. Go ahead and grab your yarn. And from here, pull through, chain 1 to secure, and then put 1 single crochet into every loop that we have going back around. And then once we're done, go ahead and connect with a slip stitch and then cut. So this is the bottom once we've done our single crochet border along the entire thing. And one of the last things that we have to do, other than weaving in all of these lovely ends, is making our straps. And this is going to be a tank top. So we're going to be making 4 straps, 2 in this corner. And then once when you flip it around, 2 in these 2 corners as well. And then we're also going to need to make a strap that can fit along here so that we can cinch in at the waist. And then one that can fit in through these back corset ties as well. And for the waist chain and for the back corset tie chain, I'm going to make both of them just a regular chain of 40 inches. And then for these corner chains, I'm going to attach my hook into each of these corners and just make a chain that equals out 18 inches per corner. And then I'm going to do these corners, do the same thing that I did here. So insert your hook into the corner and make a regular chain of 20 inches. So we got done doing the tank top straps, and the last thing that I'm going to show you guys how to do is how I'm weaving in the waistband. And from here, I insert it onto my hook. You can use your hook or whatever tools that you have. And I like to go into the second row that's underneath the granny square. So here's the first one. I'm going to go into the second one. I'm just going to eyeball where the middle part is, and then from here I'm going to be weaving in and out of every 3 double crochet, just like this. And then I'm going to keep going until we're all the way around, and then the last thing that we have to do is weave in all the ends. And this is what we got once we've woven in all of the ends. This sundress definitely took a little while, but it's cool because I got to catch up on some TV shows. But anyways, if y'all remix this dress, send it to me on Instagram or Twitter, both at TCDDIY, because I love seeing your creations. Feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe and become a part of this little crochet family that we got. And if y'all have any questions about the yarn or hooks, those links will be in the description as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one.